Hey everybody. So I'm packing up to go out on a backpacking trip, and before I load all of this gear into this backpack, I wanted to take a minute to stop and talk about KS Ultralight. When I was researching packs, there wasn't a lot of information about KS Ultralight. And the website doesn't help much. It's a little confusing, a little counterintuitive, and so I imagine that's probably scaring some people off. So I wanted to take a minute and show you what the finished product looks like and talk about what it was like working with Laurent from KS Ultralight and what makes this pack really a winner in my opinion. The really neat thing about KS Ultralight is that it seems to be just one guy working in Japan making these packs, and he makes them incredibly customizable. So to start off with, you can choose your own fabrics. He has a lot of them to choose from. I went with the VX07 in the soft finish, which is a very lightweight fabric. It's also very water resistant, but because the seams on this pack are not seam sealed, it's not a completely waterproof pack. The standard closure system is a drawstring closure, but I decided to go for the roll top. Makes it a little bit more waterproof. I just really wanted to try out a roll top closure bag, so that's what I went with. It's Velcro, and it has these little pull cords. In terms of the front mesh pocket, Laurent suggested that I go with strong mesh rather than the fine mesh. And it's held up really well. I haven't had this pack long, so only time will tell. But so far I've been able to shove just about everything that I want to get into this front pocket in here, even though it's not the stretchiest material on earth. It does have the side compression straps. This bag compresses down really small. So far I've taken it mostly on 2 and 3 day trips. My loads have been 15, 16 pounds, and it's ridden really comfortably. I forget that it's there, but I'm able to cinch it down so it doesn't feel like it's all floppy on your back. It really rides nicely. Another thing that I added to the pack is the Palante style bottom pocket. So you put your snacks here, whatever. It has a little trash port on this side. If I had it to do over, I probably would not get this bottom pocket. Because the pack rides a little further down on my back, it makes it hard to access this. When I've had it out in wet weather, this has gotten really soggy as well. So I just don't think it's the most useful on this pack. Now, if you were using a pack that doesn't have a hip belt that rides a little higher, I think it's a great thing. It's just not for me. I would change that. The bottom fabric and the pocket fabric by default on the website is Cordura. So it's thicker and more abrasion resistant. But then again, that's something that you could switch as well. These are kind of endlessly customizable. KS Ultralight packs come with hip belts. And for an ultralight pack, it's actually really comfortable, foam, padded, and it does transfer a lot of the weight to my hips. Being that I'm not the biggest person or the strongest person, it's really nice in a frameless pack for me to be able to take a little bit of weight down on my hips rather than all on my shoulders. Speaking of shoulders, this pack comes with J-shaped shoulder straps. And being that I'm a lady, I was a little concerned that these were going to be, boob smashers. But they haven't been. And I talked to Laurent about it. He wasn't too worried because they really jut out far. And they kind of come up over your shoulders and out of the way. And so I found them to be super comfortable. I ended up getting load lifter straps because I got the removable frame stay option. So if I want to, I can pop in aluminum frames into these guys. And then they go down and they connect up with another point down here and they transfer more weight. Now that's if I'm going on a 4 or 5 day trip and I want to carry over 20 pounds. I can turn this into a framed pack. So it's completely modular that way. But Laurent suggested getting load lifter straps if you're going to go with the removable frame stay option. I went for the webbing rather than the cordage. It just seemed like they might be a little easier to use. But after using the side compression straps, I feel like this would probably be effective enough. So that's just my thought on that. I like having load lifters. These might be a little overkill, but they work great. In terms of the back panel here, I ended up getting sit pad pockets. Now you have a couple of different options. You can get nothing back here. You can go with the full 3D mesh back. But once again, I liked having options. So I went with the pocket so I can either bring a sit pad or not. This is a cut down Z seat that I have back here right now. And I really like having it accessible. So when I get to a spot I want to take a rest, I pull this out and it works really well for me. But it's also comfortable without it. So this is something that I might end up removing to save a little weight in the future. In total, this pack comes in at about 16 ounces without the aluminum stays, and the aluminum stays do add just a couple of ounces. So this is really kind of a sweet spot between some of the lightest ultralight frameless packs that, you know, might even just have a little webbing hip belt, nothing padded. So this is kind of between that and like the Z packs, Arc Haul, Arc Blast. So it's really right in the middle, and I like it because of the versatility. In terms of the shoulders, I ended up going with the stretch mesh shoulder pockets. I'm really glad I did. They work out great. They fit a phone or camera, sunglasses, snacks. On the website, he has an option where there's one open and one with a zipper. And I asked him if he could do 2 open mesh pockets, and Laurent's super cool. He does that sort of thing. So there you go. Overall impressions, what I would change, we already talked about that bottom Palante style pocket. Another thing that I would change would be to isolate the closure system. So you have the possibility to put this up here so that you don't have to open the pack basically to get into the front mesh. And also I find that this closure system is a little cumbersome. Excuse the shakiness here. But it's got this little hook that wraps over and attaches to this clasp, and it's not the easiest to use. So if I had it to do over, I'd ask Laurent if he could use something more like this on the closure system. And I would also isolate it from the top of the mesh pocket so they weren't connected. In hindsight too, I probably would have gone with a Y-top closure so that this could accommodate a bear canister. It's just a tiny weight ding, it's not that expensive. I didn't realize how comfortable this pack would be with loads over 20 pounds using the aluminum frame stays. So this pack is definitely a contender for a through hike or going to the Sierras, and I just never anticipated using it that way. So in hindsight, I would have gotten the Y-top closure. You live, you learn. But all in all, working with Laurent was great on this. I probably sent him 10 emails. We made some changes. He was really a dream to work with. It shipped really quickly. And when it showed up, I couldn't be more tickled about the quality of the sewing and the quality of the construction. So if you're on the fence about it, I would say go for it. Contact Laurent, see if he can do what you want to do. He's really nice to work with, and so far I am loving my KS Ultralight 40.